Welcome to LFG Episode 2. I am your main host, Chris, and it feels great to be back. I have two other fellows here with me tonight. One coming back from lots of emails and comments on YouTube and girls, throngs of women between the ages of 18 and 25. We're just asking, can we please have John back? So, John, if you could say hello.
Hello, hello.
How does it feel to be wanted by that many women, John?
It's pretty normal for me.
Another day in the park? And our third co-host, his name is also Matt. And before talking, I said he is Colonel Revision 2.0 of Matt. This fellow also does his own Star Wars podcast, so he has some podcasting muscle coming into this group. And like I said, his name is Matt, and his character name, which I'm going to go right to Matt right away before we talk about his character. So Matt, say hello.
Hello, fellow Tenarians.
Yes, and Matt actually is a bit of a lore buff too. And I'm hoping during this show that Matt will be able to discuss certain things, because I said, you know what, go nuts, Matt. If you feel something come on and you want to discuss something, you just go ahead.
The nuts will be going.
Yeah, and Matt was actually contacted me through our EQA LFG at gmail.com, which is our email. He sent me an email, and he also commented on our video from episode 1. And ever since then, it was just an instant connection. And we both love hockey. Both have that common denominator as well, besides EQA. Now, Matt, if you just want to tell us a little about yourself, your character name, what server you played on, what got you in EQA, just so everyone else know what's up.
Well, I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. Played on Hodstock, as most of the best players in the game did, just saying. Yeah. I made Rezikai back on the first day I got it, which is the first week of release, because I always liked the name Rez, and I knew the name Kai has a lot of different meanings in a lot of different languages, so I used that on the end because I played a lot of Dark Forces and Rogue Squadron prior to this, and JRPGs. So I just put Rez, and then it wouldn't let me have just 3 letters for a name, so I had to put the Kai on the end of it, just to let it roll. And it's been like that way ever since.
And so yeah, you said you did play on Hodstock. You've been on there for a while. And what did you roll? What was your race and class?
Originally I rolled a Eastern human rogue, and it was Rezikai. But I eventually dabbled in a little bit of everything, like Erudite Enchanter. I really liked the Barbarian Warrior real well, even after all the nerfs they took. So it's kind of rough.
Were you the type of guy, you had to sport that sweet facial hair when you made your character, or were you nice, clean cut?
I played a female Barbarian Warrior with the big pigtails they used to rock.
Pigtail guy. I never would have guessed.
No, I just want to go something different, because my brother, who actually rated on his warrior, really well too, by the way. He made a big, huge, hulking WWF kind of barbarian, and I was like, I want mine a little bit off, so I'll make it a little bit different.
So you had that tail that never stopped waggling.
Oh.
So I want to go to John. So John, what have you been up to? Anything new happening with you?
I got a new job.
Congrats again.
Yeah. Having another kid.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, I'm not in April.
So this will be your 3rd or 4th?
Actually, just 2nd.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I think it's someone else. Oh, who knows? Yeah, maybe I'm foreshadowing something.
Oh gosh.
That's great news. Are you hoping for a boy or a girl, or?
It is a girl.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So are you hoping by the time you have her, possibly having the whole family slowly get into EQOA and
That would be nice.
Yeah, have the son maybe roll a barbarian to follow in your barbarian footsteps.
Well, he already loves to run around as Corsten, but he always wants to fight stuff. But there's nothing to fight right now.
True.
You know, because he's just running around on the save state. But
Yeah.
so he's looking forward to it.
I know that's fantastic that you have your kid already. Just the game even not even being working yet live, but just having him play in the open world and he's enjoying it, right? He's just running around and looking at all the different graphics and whatnot and models. Well, the models per se in Freeport, I guess that would be the only ones that are available.
Yeah, he always wants to go to the volcano, which is clicking on.
So he enjoys the debris falling from the air.
Right. Yep.
That's cool. I respect that.
Yeah, he used to sit on my lap though when we had live servers. I would sit him on my lap and play. So he is already an EQA veteran.
That's great. All right, so we got through our first segment. I just wanted to go over Matt, so our new co-host. And as I mentioned before, we would like to switch up the co-hosts from episode to episode. So our next scheduled episode will be for December. We don't know when in December, but we will put that on Facebook. Another thing, too, is the general discussion segment. So when we get to that, please pay attention in the chat here on Twitch. I will post our topics. The topics that we do speak about, we'll have a few words about ourselves. And if you already have us added on Skype, so EQOA LFG, we will be pulling in some people to have their say too, because we want to engage the community in many different ways. And this is one of the ways. The second way is that I have my own personal video DJ. So Jeremiah, who also goes by Alutra on our Facebook group, is my video DJ. And I keep calling him my personal Paul Schaefer, even though he's American. He had no idea who Paul Schaefer was. So I guess he never watched Letterman show. But Paul Schaefer was Letterman's right-hand man. And he's actually a very musically talented guy. So and if you'd like to post in the chat, if you're looking at some places you'd like to see afterwards, he'll actually port there and do sort of like a walk around the area that you would like to see. Our first segment, though, or second segment now, pardon, is about the zone information. I mentioned in episode 1 that we wanted to talk about different zones. And we wanted to start off this first live episode just talking about Tethelin. We all have a deep connection to Tethelin. We've all created elves and whatnot. So we thought, why not discuss Tethelin? So we're going to be going over different parts of Tethelin. And the first thing with Tethelin is where the coachman was located. So the coachman was found right pretty much where you spawned. You'll see like a little sort of shack garage. And the coachman stands right in front of there. His name was Coachman Zaris. I don't know do you remember that, John, Matt?
I honestly haven't. I spent the least amount of time in any place, probably in Tethelin, because I spent most of my time in Hollis.
Oh yeah, sorry, I keep forgetting. Barbarian guy. So when we get to the Hallis episode, you definitely have to be on there.
All right.
Yeah. But when you did start, did you roll an elf, Matt?
I rolled a bard when they brought out Hagley, the test server, for a little while.
Okay. So
I did roll bard there. I remember Zaris. He was like the furthest away coach from any city, I think, in the entire game, wasn't he?
I would have to look at the actual map. I remember when you did talk to Mr. Zaris that you were able to coach to Face Spires or Click On In. So yeah, the Zaris was located if you look in the video, he's right in front there of the shack. He is a medium-built elf. It looks like he might do a bit of lifting, probably 30-40 pound dumbbells. Married or not, no idea. But you'll be able to find out eventually when the game goes live. You just hail him and ask him the question. So yeah, we're going to go through some more areas of Tethelin. The reason why we're doing this too, because some people have never played EQOA, and I'm assuming that anyone here who's listening has already played EQOA and knows mostly all of this stuff anyways. But it's nice to have a new crowd, because when our game does go live, there's going to be people who've never played this before, and they may watch this episode, and this is very informative to them. But again, this whole feeling of nostalgia, it's great, right? We're seeing where things were, even though it kind of feels like an abandoned wasteland. This is where stuff was. So we're gonna start traveling through a bit here. We're gonna head on to the bank in here in Tethelin. Now I remember like so many times coming here because you didn't actually have the gems and stuff in the beginning of the game. You guys remember when the crafting was incorporated in the game?
The most server lag ever that day, I think.
And it was like so many people around bankers, right? Because everyone was just looting the gems and then just storing it in their bank. And then even like, I don't know about you guys, but I ran out of bank space pretty quick.
Oh yeah, bank space is always at a premium.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and everyone rolled a second or third character called banker, blah blah blah, right?
Oh yeah.
You had to.
Yeah, you had no choice. So if you are watching live right now, you'll see that the video currently my DJ is sitting in and around the area where the banker was located. I think, as I recall, there was 2 bankers, and yeah, this is where I would spend a lot of my time leveling from 1 to probably 15. And I would always come back here and drop my gems, or for whatever reason, I was the type of player too, as like I would kill, whether it be a spider or any of the fireflies, and like instead of selling the stuff, I would actually, yeah, I was like a sick predator, like I would take the skulls of my kills and then I would clean them off, and then hide them in the bank. Yeah, I don't know. I guess when you first started playing, it's like even with your character points, I didn't even allot my character points properly. I always put points in charisma.
Man. Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, I know. It's just
everyone will like him better if I put charisma on him.
Yeah, maybe I can get this for just a bit cheaper if it runs like the D&D rules. So as you, when I left the bank, or let's say if I had my gems at this point, if I was crafting, there was a crafting area in Tethelin. So it was located sort of in the middle. If anyone is using the PDF or have their old EverQuest books handy, it was known as Sector 20 in the big EQA Bible. So that was the one that was like black and white. If you're looking at the beautifully colored and all the art's really nice, the thinner EverQuest, so it would be the original EverQuest Adventures book. You're looking around, it would be sort of in between Sector 2 and Sector 3 in the middle. But like I said, if you have the big Bible, it was Sector 20. And this location was for doing all your armor. So if you were into doing any crafting at all, you'd have to go up there. And I did a lot of crafting on my my cleric. I don't know if John, did you do a lot of crafting yourself?
Yeah, all of it on my warrior.
Warrior and Matt?
I did. I tried it for a while, but it took away from reading the quest text and lore, and I can't have that. So no, I did not craft much.
Big no.
Yes, I did have my warrior was a master armor smith.
Ooh, so did you? Okay, as I recall, there wasn't so much looting armor, but you would actually figure out different types of armors as you were crafting, correct?
Yeah, basically.
Because it would say you've learned such and such recipe.
Yeah. It was it's a little hazy now, but yeah, there wasn't like except for like the I think the master crafting ones, you had to have like a recipe thing, and the other ones were just toss the components in and you're good. Basically.
Yeah.
Because I recall even when I was doing it in Freeport or whether in Teflin, that I would just be mixing like random things together, and it would say you have learned such and such, and then you would look at the stats and be like, okay, well obviously this is full of charisma, so it's good for healers or whatnot. Yeah, that was cool. I actually really like the crafting system for EQA.
I crafted so much stuff though that I had to start deleting recipes that I learned because it kept saying that I was full. So you had to like delete the lower level stuff so that I could remember the higher level stuff.
There was a max amount of recipes you could know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I've never actually reached the max, so that's something new for me.
I had heard about that because my aunt, who played on Diver's Hold, she was a Ryoko song. We have an DH here, listening and watching. She learned all three. She mastered out all three, like the jeweler, the weapon, the armor.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I did. And she told me about that, and I just thought she was just making stuff up because she wasn't, didn't know how to play that great. But apparently she was.
Confirmation. Yeah, confirmation now.
Now we're going to talk about some of the starting areas in Tethelin. Now, there was a couple of classes that started here, and there was other ones that started in Phasespire. So if you were to create an enchanter and be like, why am I not in Tethelin? Then you would know, they start in Phasespire. So we're going to talk about Rangers first. So the Ranger Guild. And the Ranger Guild, and as again, I'm using this as a reference, so if everyone has their books or not, it feels weird saying this. It's like, please turn to page 42 in your Everquest Bible. Oh, okay. Anyways, I'll get off a tangent. So the Ranger starting guild was known as Area 6. As soon as you started here, you had your main guild master upstairs. And you would have, of course, everyone has their simple quest, right? You kill the mob, get something, go see the coachman, see the spirit master, get your new vest, weapon. You guys remember that whole shindig too?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. So did any of you guys roll a ranger, by the way?
Not to like max level. I think the highest I ever had a ranger was like 20 or something.
Yeah?
My little brother, well, I have two little brothers. He rolled 3 rangers, 2 of them all the way to 60. One maxed out.
They were a lot of fun.
Yeah.
My main was a ranger. I only got them to level 50. Around that time, I just finished the Wolfware quest too. I made it. He's pretty beastie. Like I was doing some duels against some like 55s, 57s, giving some good runs for their money because I was that type of guy that would switch through my spells really, really fast. And as like, so I would exhaust all my bow spells. So I'd shoot an arrow, then use like ice, fire, whatever other ones, shoot another arrow, and then switch all my abilities mid-battle, and then use all my actual sword abilities. So like my dazzling blades, hasted blade, swift blade, kick. I remember just going through everything. I was just a machine. Like I would just go really quick with my paddle, and then you'd see me use my ability, like going in my abilities bar and then switching everything. Just remember the sound was like whooshing, like going through everything. Yeah, that sticks in my head like a thumb. So yeah, the next spot we're gonna go to here in Tethelin is the Druid starting area. Now, I actually never made a Druid before. Did you guys ever play Druid?
It was either one of those ones where I made it, got it to like level 20, and then never played it again.
Okay, and Matt?
No, I never did because I would only play a shaman ever because they got pets, and that's still, and they were bear. I was never a fan of the wolves.
Well, the Druids, like, it's kind of weird for me saying I've never disliked them because a ranger was sort of had Druid qualities to it too. I know when I did my class mastery that I picked up some like healing things, so obviously there was a bit of a connection with a ranger with a Druid, and really any like lore you look at too, like whether it be Lord of the Rings or anything like that, usually have some sort of Druid-esque feel to them, rangers.
Oh, yeah.
But so yeah, if you're looking again in your books, this is Area 4. So if you look at Area 4, it's on the far, it would be west side of Tethelin, and the Druid Guild actually has a little ramp too that goes up to it. Now, typically, wherever you started, the merchants that you would purchase your spells from would be right outside around the cabin. It would range level spells from like 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 12, and 16. I think that was the pattern. And like I said, I think I might have rolled a Druid, but I couldn't really get into it. Maybe it was just the time in my life where I required a character who required more action. But then again, I'd be sort of going against myself because I made a healer. I really do so much damage per se. Like, you have to pay attention to people's lives, but you know what I mean, though? Like, the druid was a bit of a hybrid class, and I found like druids were used a lot just for so. You'd see one run by, and it's just like, oh, please stop, hail.
So and snare. That's the two things you had a druid for.
Yeah. Well, even rangers got snare though later too.
Yeah, but I don't think it worked. I don't think it worked on what was his name? And can't remember his name now. The call, like where you got the abilities at the like level 60.
Oh.
What was that guy's name? And it was in ZP. I don't remember. I can't remember for the life of me right now.
Yeah. See, just because we're live now, I'm gonna brain fart.
Right.
And that
was like the main reason I think people really made druids was to have that snare for doing raids.
Yeah. No.
Kind of like daggers on rogues.
Mm-hmm. The next area we're looking at. So if you rolled a elf bard. So again, in your EQOA Bibles, it will be found in Area 1. And Area 1 on your map is located more towards the far east side. And you'll have to get at it going through the bridges. Now, one thing I want to say is that we're going to have a link. I'll put a link in the actual message on our Twitch chat, but on our YouTube video, I'm going to put a link to an emulator so you guys can run your own emulator, play around and whatnot. There is a mod to increase the speed, or there's just a feature, pardon. Just be careful when you're like running in places like Tethelin, or that like when you're going on bridges and things like that, because you can easily fall off, and it's really annoying. So even though it's like you love playing this game and you're in the world, just when you turn that feature on and you're running really fast, just make sure you're not in like tight quarters. Use that feature when you're like running across like zones and you just want to go from one zone to the other.
You know, that was kind of one of my biggest problems with Tethelin. To me, it was like even though it's so simple, it was one of the most confusing cities, and I was constantly falling off those bridges. Constantly.
It was the camera angle. It was the camera angle at certain parts.
Yeah, like when you go into one of the buildings, you like can't see anything because it's all tight quarters.
Yeah.
I had a Tethelin avoidance, I think.
You were forced to go first person in certain areas.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, you're switching back and forth through first person. So yeah, the bard starting area was known as Area 1. Now, there's one last class that we cannot forget about. Can anyone guess what that class is?
In Teflin?
In Teflin.
Teflin?
It's a class that deals a lot of damage. They're pretty sneaky.
It must be rogues.
It must be rogues. It's got to be bards.
You know, honestly, I played so few elves that I'm not even sure I knew that elves could be rogues.
Really?
Yeah, I played so few elves.
That's actually not unheard of, because there were actually so few elf rogues in the actual game. Like, I hardly ever saw one.
Really, on Hotstock, you found that?
Yeah, I only saw like I think 2 the entire time I played.
I thought there was. Oh, maybe I had a lot of friends. Like, we all pretty much rolled elves on our characters. But yeah, I thought that's almost like a stereotype, though. If you're gonna have a rogue, it'd be an elf rogue, just because they're so dainty. And every time, even if you saw things in the D&D universe, you would see an elf rogue, right? It would be that one hidden in the shadows and pinching your pennies.
Oh, I always saw plenty of Delph rogues.
Yeah, I saw a lot.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you there. I've seen more dark elf rogues than actual elf rogues. And the dark elves had, they're the shade of their body. It was much more cool because they kind of looked like Driss. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Forgotten Realms at all.
Oh yeah,
I'm aware of it. Yes.
Yes. So Driss was a dark elf, and I found he kind of had that sort of model look. But yeah, in your EQA, again, back to your books, if you were to look this up, the Rogue Guild is at Area 2. And Area 2 is found northeast, so pretty much almost in the middle again. Your merchants, like I said before, for every single class is located outside your hut. And as John mentioned, be careful when you're walking around from bridge to bridge and how your camera angle is if you're walking inside because you might grab and squeeze your controller a bit just out of frustration. But yeah, there were some interesting times. So we're going to actually travel around now outside of Tethelin. We're going to go to a few popular areas. So one of the areas that a lot of people enjoyed was the hive, the wasp nest. I don't know if you guys spent a lot of time there or not.
I didn't spend a lot of time there, but I do have fond memories of XP groups there.
Yeah, I remember that was the first thing about outside of that city I ever saw was the big beehives and all the wooden things.
Now because I must have spent at least 3 to 4 levels outside, and you needed a full group. If you were like low level and you were just starting to do that area, you needed to kill the workers outside for a good 3 to 4 levels before you moved inside, just because they must have been at least 6 levels higher up. Well, the queen was for sure.
The queen was like level 15 or something like that, weren't they, on the inside?
I remember going there at level 20 on my ranger and soloing it, and I think it was a light blue. So yeah, it would have been around that level. But the worker wasps were found outside of the hive, a lot of them, and there was a lot of really cool. There was some actually decent loot off those guys. And one of the things that, because it was such a popular area to level in, was that people would cause unnecessary trains, and it was like not 3, 4 wasps. We're talking like all the wasps on the inside, pretty much anything else that you were fighting on the outside, and they would come by you and be like, "Oh, check it out," and then you would just get ganked by all these wasps, and you'd be so upset. And then this guy would just be laughing and like have no armor on, running around naked. Obviously, he'd be like level 30 or 40 or something, but yeah, if you go into the hive, you'll find some higher level workers, and then the wasp queen. And I remember the wasp queen, she would drop what was it, their stinger, her shield.
Yeah, wasn't she a quest item, a quest mob?
Yeah, she was also a quest mob. She dropped the needle. That's what you said, right?
But I said the eye.
Oh, the eye, yeah. But I believe that she had the needle as well.
I don't know. I didn't have to do a lot of quests over there, so.
Yeah, because there was like a 2-handed piercing weapon that she dropped. But it's been such a long time. Any of us could be wrong too. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I had this discussion too earlier with Jeremiah, is that a lot of these zones that Sony created, you were always constantly looking around when you hear things, hear sounds, whether it be the sound of wings or a bass, or there was something walking towards you, and it would almost sort of put fear into the user, saying, "Oh crap, something big's coming," or this guy looks really upset, and the mob, it cons red, but it'll attack you if it sees you. Like I miss that feeling from games. I haven't felt that in a while.
When you were talking about the unnecessary trains earlier, I mean, some trains, I'll admit, I watched in awe and loved it. I felt bad for the people getting trained who didn't want it, but just that knowing that human element that someone might go ahead and run through and pull about 40 of them.
Yeah, because everyone would just scatter. Like because trains weren't a thing when we first started playing, but once people did it, it was like you'd see everyone, all these low levels just run, and then the guy training everyone would just run towards them. Go to the guards! So now we're going to move on from the hive to a popular spot where everyone saw from the distance a huge telescope, and they kind of said, "What's that? What the heck is that up there on the hill from the wasp nest?" I know I thought of this when I first saw it. Do you guys know the spot I'm talking about?
Snafner's house.
Snafner's. Wah, 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 wah. So yeah, you could totally see Snafner's house from the wasp nest, and I'm glad that we don't have to actually spend any real life energy to get to it though, because there was like tons of stairs going up to it. It was almost like a Shaolin monk sort of travel up to the stairs. But yeah, Snafner's house. It was a really cool spot. You know, you walk into it and it had like the globe and things in it. It was, I believe, it was a part of a quest too. But
yeah, wasn't there some with dynamite or something you had to do up here?
I can't recall. I know I went to this zone because it was eye candy. I was like, ooh, shiny. I just went up and I checked it out. But you're probably right. I think there was something to do with the quest. I'm sure a lot of any elf class that was created in this area had something to do with the quest there.
I think so. Didn't he like you have to like get a component for one of his little like gnome clockwork things or something that he's making up in there?
Yeah, well, you know, he is a gnome, and gnomes are known as tinkerers, so I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, it was pretty neat. You can go up right to the top there of here, and then there was like a little window, and you could like see out of, as I recall. But you'd have to go into like a first-person view, because if you were just like to walk up to it, you couldn't really see too well out, as I recall. But it was a cool spot. I don't know if that was like, I guess if you didn't roll an elf off the bat, that wouldn't be one of the places that stuck out like a sore thumb to you. But I remember when I first created my elf, you know, after the wasp nest, it was like, oh, cool kind of thing. That, and I didn't get too close to the wasp nest because I was still like level 3 or 4, and like everything was like going to destroy me at that level. I'm sure you guys had that feeling too when you were in your own starting. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Everywhere.
I remember running from Hollis to Darver Manor and just being like scared to death of like a level 15 beaver.
I remember once I got lost when I was going from like High Pass to like, maybe it was like Grob or something. I got so lost down there near the Fort Alliance, and I was only like level 20. That stuff destroyed me.
I have to agree with one person there in our chat. Ember Dream says trains were only a pain in the butt because of the experience stat, and I totally agree with that. Especially when you're high levels, and then if you were to put like, let's say like 80% of your experience into class mastery, like that ruined your CMs at that point. Like once you got debt, you had to reallocate your percentage that you went to CMs to your debt, right? Because it broke it all up. Like you would have a smaller percentage into your debt, a small percentage into your CMs, and a small percentage into your experience.
Yeah, so you have to go like 50-50 or something like that.
Yeah, it was never fun at high levels to get debt. I didn't really care at low levels. It's like, it was nothing, really.
Yeah, if you got a good group, you could get rid of debt in like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
you know?
if just a good chain pull going on, especially, like I say, if you're at the Wasp Nest, you get a mob down. And typically, when you're in a solid group of people, you're going to want to have your main tank pull a guy, start killing it. Then when your mob's down to about 10%, start chain pulling, bring another one in. Yep. Just keep that going, and like you'll find the XP just goes so quick. It's the best. It's the best thing to do.
It all depends on how well your tank pulls, though. 'Cause sometimes, like you'd get guys that they would run in and accidentally grab like 3 or 4, and then you're scrambling to kill them all.
Yeah. Crowd control is important.
Tank to get a good chain pull going.
That would be.
Go ahead. Sorry. No.
That would be a scream line tank there, John.
Now we're traveling around. We go and pass there one of the orc camps that was just past Snapner's house and whatnot, and there was always this huge gate that I remember that had orcs inside. You guys remember that gate at all?
The Druck.
The Druck tunnel.
Yeah, it had there was that tome there, and then there's a bunch of other caves. There's like the rat cave, the tome, and inside this you'd go down and you'd run into like some putrid mushrooms and some crazy fog and haze happening. I always thought, I made this joke too last night when we were looking through things. It's like there was one spot where it's like, all right, who hotboxed this area? Like in the expansion. It wasn't there because there wasn't that feature yet with all the fog and whatnot. But it was funny. It was just there was all this smoke there, and it's just I know. This is what orcs do in their off time. Or any mob. Just sitting there token away until someone comes by.
Stabs him in the back.
Yeah. But that's the thing, though, with Tethelin is that I found it was very rich because there was many locations to have really decent grinding sessions at.
Yeah,
like,
probably more so than a lot of other areas.
Yeah, like we went by earlier, a small orc camp, and then that tome, and then there was another massive gate with more orcs in it. And it's just like all these different places everywhere, and it also helped too because it alleviated a bit of stress for other groups trying to find different spots to level, because the main spot prior was the Wasp Nest. Everyone would try to level up to get there, and then there's more than just the Wasp Nest. There's actually a lot of beautiful different areas to Tethelin, and there was this massive gate with some I believe there were orc augurs and other mobs like that. And you get a decent 4-person group, got your healer, tank, some DPS, and you'd go to town there.
Are you talking about the big unfinished combined spires, like way north of Tethelin, or are you talking about?
Yeah, I think it was on like the borderline of being in Tethelin or Face Spires.
Okay.
So for the people that are watching live on Twitch right now, you'll see exactly what we're talking about, the area. Now, I'm trying to go by memory, and I'm really bad with actual locations. Like, I can't just tell you, oh, this is northeast at quadrant blah 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 blah. I love the game, guys, but I haven't memorized it that much. But it was a really cool location. The thing with EverQuest and Sony did is that there's so many Easter eggs in the game and small little spots. And even when I'm talking with you guys or Jeremiah, there's spots that I've missed. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's there? So you, like us, as people who love the game and people listening, can download this emulator and go around, look in the world and see these different places. And look at it now so you can travel to it later. And I don't know the level of the mob that's going to be in there later, but at least you're able to discover and then just hash up old memory and feelings of all these different spots in the world. Like it's fantastic. And at one point you're teasing yourself because you're really ready for the game and you want to play and you want everything to just happen now. But you have to in your mind accept that the game's not ready yet, and this is just for me to use to go around and look at the world. Because there's just, I don't know, have you guys ran the emulator a lot yourself?
I did for a while, back when we first opened it up. And I found tons of stuff that I never knew. One was I found out that there was, like, in the spider cave zone, that there was more than one cave. I just went to the same one.
Okay.
Apparently there was a second one. Like, I think it was a little further south in the zone that I never knew about until I was running around on the emulator.
Oh, nice. Yeah, like there was like a bunch of small places that it's just I can't wait. I can't wait till the game's back up, and I just can't wait to get in there and just go nuts again. I don't know how many hours. Hopefully I'll still be a married man after this game goes live, because I don't know how I'm going to balance everything. Like, I don't know, somehow it's going to happen. But at the same time, it's so neat that as a community, we can all get together. Just for example, this podcast, we can talk about this game, and like 9 out of 10, we're probably going to run into each other in the game, and we're going to group together. This is a beautiful aspect of this community engagement. And I didn't even know that the Matt prior to now was on Hodstock with me, but he remembered. I think you said my cleric, Avatar Woe, Matt.
Yeah, I remember. I remember him because I thought for some reason there was an avatar somewhere in the game you named it after, and I was like, oh. What? And so the lore part caught me off guard. So I remember seeing.
Oh, we're getting some audio issues with Matt.
At some point in the game multiple times. So,
Matt, we may need you to come out and come back in. We had this problem earlier too.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to just drop Matt for just a second, and then I'll add Matt back into the call. That's the wonderful thing with using Skype, guys, is that depending on A, how many people are using your internet connection, and B, whether Skype wants to be friends with you or not at this particular moment. But like he was saying, sort of broken up. He didn't know either that we were both on the same server. And I'm looking forward to grouping with him again. I can't wait. Even with you, John, I'm not just saying him in general, but it's just so cool how we can plan now for the future. And then, maybe we'll have a guild and all that sort of wonderful stuff.
It'll be really interesting to see what happens with like guilds and stuff later on.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it back then, it was like you had your group of people that you talked to all the time, and you probably hated someone else that was in another guild. But kind of since the game has been down, it's all become one community.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Through the Facebook groups and stuff. I'm wondering how that plays out as far as like guild competitiveness and stuff like that once the game is live again. Yeah,
there's going to be certain groups of people that are going to try and push and do as much content as possible and then brag about it, which is it's not a bad thing. It's always good to be a bit competitive. Why not, right?
I'm just wondering how that plays because, before, there were people you literally hated, right? And now you probably talk to them on Facebook in the group, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it'll just be weird when those factions start to form again.
Hopefully that person has grown up since.
They're not a 13-year-old anymore.
Yeah, you can hear like, hey John, how's it going? Just got on, and then, hey John,
yeah,
it's been a while. 2 kids, hey, fun time. Yeah, it's always funny when puberty kicks in from playing with a child. Now, I it's been a long time since I went through puberty, but I still get the old squeak in the voice. Just like in Simpsons there, hey mister, or whatever, they're the kid and the
nerdy guy?
Yeah, the nerdy guy. So that pretty much covers looking around Tethelin. If you go to, in your EQA Bibles, page 125, 115, and 116, and you'll find, also page 124, all the spells, the beginning, so your spells for 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, 12, 16, and 20, for those classes that we spoke about earlier, so Ranger, Druid, Bard, and Rogue, and you'll see your beginner spells. A lot of the mobs, too, around the area, so when you first start in Tethelin, you'll find underneath just a mixed bag of snakes, so it'd either be a snake or a viper, rats, spark flies, hatchlings. I don't think there's anything else. Am I forgetting anything?
I would have no idea.
Oh yeah, that's right. Hallis,
yeah. Barbarian. So skeletons and goblins. That's what I mostly kill.
But yeah, there was all that good stuff underneath. You'd see people getting the chittens and all that jazz. So we're going to go into our second segment. Now, the second segment of our show, if people remembered from the first one, is about the EQA Revival group. And here we like to share information about the group. So the progression of how we're getting the server online, or are we close to having a server online, or is there any big breakthroughs? So if you're following, if you're not following, first of all, why aren't you following? That's a huge question. You should be on. I know a lot of people, some people don't like social media, and some people don't like Facebook and all that. But if you're a big EQA fan, go on Facebook, search in EQA Revival, and be a part of the group. You'll see a lot of things that people like this. This Dustin fella, who goes on here. He emulates the game, and then he uses the genie. Right? Is it the genie? The name of it? What he uses to mod to
cheat engine.
The cheat engine. Sorry, yeah. I'm thinking like Nintendo Entertainment System here. The Game Genie. So yeah, he uses the cheat engine, and he's actually done a lot of different things with the cheat engine, and he's done a fair share of work. We'll also put a link in this episode, and it'll be to his channel, And this link will have all the different videos he's done with the cheat engines. He's done things where he's taken characters, models out and put it in the game. He has switched his own model. He had at one point, I'm pretty sure everyone's seen this if you looked in the group, there was a video of him attacking a bandit. And the bandit was attacking back, which is really cool. So he was actually fighting the bandit, and he could set the level of the bandit, and obviously he would set it lower than him. So he had a con. Was it white or like blue? It was like one of the two.
He could actually change the con. He had it where he could change it red, yellow, green, whatever.
And he'd be fighting it, and the actual bandit would be fighting back. So it was really cool video. He's done a lot of great things. Now a lot of people too are like, what's the big announcement here? You can't just say there's some sort of announcement and not say anything. It's funny because there's people like even before the show even started, what's the announcement? We want to know what the announcement now.
That's the way I was when you said that there was an announcement.
Yeah,
I like immediately contacted you.
It's like having like 17-year-olds at a dinner table smacking their hands. We want food. We want food. Do we have Matt back yet? Hello, Matt. Are you with us, Matt? No, Matt is still MIA. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to introduce a very special guest. On Facebook, he is known as Randall. Randall is one of the programmers, so he is one of the guys helping out with everyone else. And Randall has done some really cool things. Randall is going to discuss some of the stuff he's working on. So this is sort of with the surprise. And Randall, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up? Can you hear me fine?
It does not sound like you're speaking through the toilet bowl.
Okay, cool. What's up? On Facebook, I am known as Randall Adams. My name is Bob Randazio. I'm Condamor, chatting with you guys on Twitch if you've seen me pop up a little bit. I got into EverQuest back in 2003, about 2 or 3 months after it came out. And it quickly became one of my most favorite games. That and alongside, like Final Fantasy IX and some other games like that. Let's see here. In EverQuest, I played on Mars Fist. My first character was Condamor, the name I have here. And he was a Dark Elf warrior. Speaking of elves, like we were earlier, I was also known as Yipper, who was an elf druid. Anybody who's ever killed Dumac would know who Yipper is, I hope. And that's going way back into the game, back to 2003-ish. Let me see here. What else was I going to say? I did give a PCAP that's been helping out with the some of the server communications.
Now that's been very important. Now, can you? I want you to, because some people understands what a PCAP is, but can you explain it to people in lamest terms what this capture is?
Essentially, your PS2 and your server would talk to each other over the internet, and a PCAP, which stands for packet capture, essentially captured all of that communication. And with the PCAPs, what we can do is by figuring out how the server talked to the client and how the client, which is your PS2, would talk to the server. That's essentially what we need to break down in order to know how to build a real game server again. And so, the PCAPs is just the game and the server talking to each other.
I like the sound of that. I like where things are going. When you're talking PCAP, you're talking everyone's language here. Now,
PCAPs are the way to go.
Yeah, for sure. Now, you've got a couple of things you wanted to discuss in particular, and one of them was dual boxing.
Actually, I finished up pretty much all of the script for dual boxing today. The only thing I need to test with that is actually running 2 emulators on the same computer. When I tried running the second emulator a few hours ago, my computer said it couldn't do it. I am running on a fairly old laptop though. But yeah, with the dual boxing, you'll be able to have at least 4 of your own boxes on the same save state, essentially. How that works is,
It's awesome.
of course, pretty much all the work I'm doing, again, I do want to say, comes from Dustin and the values he found in Cheat Engine. What I do with the dual boxing is I take one of the NPCs that are in the game right now, such as Coachman Ronks is the one I've been messing with, and I change his values to equal the values of one of your characters that's running the emulator. And so with that, I can take the NPCs that are in the game and represent player characters, or as you saw Dustin doing in some of his videos, how he used NPCs to spawn at the Nashir camp and kill them. Dual boxing is pretty much just doing that.
If we could just take maybe a 3 seconds here and just start clapping for Dustin. Like, Dustin's done so much for the community, and I appreciate his videos. I think everyone appreciates his videos, and I want him to keep it up because I know he's a busy guy too, and he does have a full-time job, and I think he actually does some of this work while he's working.
He's replied to me a couple times while he's been at work.
Yeah. Hopefully it's nothing to do with like life or death with the president or something like that, because it's like especially if he's security. Hey, Dustin, how's my 6? 1 second, I'm just doing some EQA coding. I'll be with you in a second there, Mr. President. So hopefully he's nothing that tense.
I'd vote Dustin for president, then we wouldn't have to worry about that, you know?
If he became president, it'd be huge.
Oh,
huge.
You know how many EQOA on the PS4? You know how great that would be? He would do it.
There'd be no taxes on EverQuest products. No, I guess it'd be Daybreak products, and we'd have a national holiday where everyone has to play EQOA.
Well, kind of like how there's that Obamacare phone coverage thing that I have. Maybe Dustin would implement something like that. You know,
for internet
and for EverQuest.
It'd be Faxon Care. That
yes, there we go. I
couldn't
think of a good name for it.
Yeah, it'd be named after him. I'd love it. So you've got another feature you want to talk about too, which is the NPC Maker.
Yes, and before I move on to that, real quickly, I do want to give a shout out to my brother. He is in the Twitch feed as Randazinator. I do want to say if it wasn't for him, I never would have played EverQuest, as my characters were originally made on his account.
Aww.
And he dealt with a lot of my shenanigans when I was younger. So shout out to you, big brother.
Thank you, brother. Oh, yeah.
So to go along with the dual boxing, I have plans to make an NPC maker. I actually have, because I program in what's called Lua, which is a scripting language that the Cheat Engine can run. But I also do programming in Visual Basic and some other stuff. And for the NPC maker, I've been making a program that is essentially... What I want is when your character is standing somewhere in the emulator, basically maybe where a guard was at, or a mob, or a coachman, or whatever NPC you want to make, I want you to hit like a button or two in this program, and it's going to pull those values from the game where your character is at, and it's going to save them to a file. And with that file, we will be able to essentially start making a server database of where NPCs are. And I'm hoping that any of the files we save with this will be usable whenever an actual real game server is made. And then, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. With dual boxing and the NPC maker, I would imagine you, maybe you're running around with 2 boxes, of course, and on one box you're like kind of viewing it on where you want to place your second character, and the second character will be the one standing where the NPC is, and you hit a button or two and it'll copy the location in the world, and then you type in the name of the NPC and maybe the level or some stuff like that, and it'll make it. Any questions about that? Anything I might have forgot to go over?
I was going to make a comment. I'm pretty sure you guys probably went through this too. When people, so you'd run into people sometimes in your server that'd be quad boxing. And by the way, I think Matt's back. Hello, Matt.
Hello, I have returned.
All right, good. Just so you can share. Hail, Matt. So yeah, thought process. Yes, quad boxing. People will be triple boxing, quad boxing, dual boxing, and you'll be in a group. And then little do you know that you are the only one in the group that is actually playing on one system. Like I had one group where the guy was 3 other characters, and then I would be messaging, and then only the one other person would respond. And then I'd actually whisper to the other guy, like, these other guys are kind of like snobby. I'm like, they're not saying anything to us, and we're trying to get their attention. And he's like, no, that's me, dude. I'm like,
those are all me.
Come again? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, so you're telling me that you own 3 PlayStation 2s, and you're playing all these characters with me at once? He's like, oh yeah, this is easy.
And he's like, I'm also raiding Nagafin right now.
Yeah. And I'm calling Geico to get to save money on my car insurance.
And running for president at that.
Yeah.
Hey Matt, what'd you say?
Do you remember Soldador, or Spirit Maker? He would run around with like 2 Necros and 2 Mages and just pet everything on his quad box, and then his 5th box was his Paladin, and he would just sit there and loot on that all day long.
Ugh, insane. That's a lot of money, because the subscription back then was what, $15 American a month?
Yeah, something like that.
And even now, that's still considered expensive. Because World of Warcraft still charges, they must charge, I think, that much.
That's a pretty standard price, I think, for most games is $15.
It's just funny how it's never changed, even from the early 2000s. That still seems to be like that magic number. But
so if you do remember, EverQuest did start at $10.
Like a lot.
Yep, $9.89. That's when EverQuest 1 started.
Yeah, that's wow, man. There's ever. It's funny. Even like we were talking earlier when like the EverQuest Online Adventures server is shut down, and you were saying there it was only 3 years ago, right, Matt? Matt, there you are.
No, I'm here. I'm just trying to think. I didn't think it was. Was it 2000? I think it was late 2012, wasn't it, when it shut down?
Yeah, I thought it was end of the 2000s, but yeah, it's just been so long, and it's not fair. It's not fair, is it, John? We got to stick it to the man, as they say in School of Rock. Stick it to the man. Now, I'm sorry, I cut you off, Randall. I made one comment, and see how tangents work on the show.
Yeah.
Half-hour show goes to 2 hours.
Yeah, just because of little things like this. So yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off. I know you have 2 other things you wanted to talk about.
After making an NPC maker, since you'll have dual boxing in the game, it only stands that I also make a quest maker, which I'm not quite sure how far I'll be able to get to with that right now. There's a lot of menus I know Dustin has found the values for, and then other things such as detecting your location or spawning a monster and killing it. I already have access to. I don't necessarily have code for all of that, but a quest maker I do see as being something I want to make really soon. I do want to also state though that with the dual boxing that I've made, which is kind of, I guess, more so the bigger announcement of the things I'm talking about. The dual boxing, it actually carries a lot of code in it. It carries the code that I will need to just spawn NPCs easily, because if you look at the scripts that Dustin wrote, basically each NPC has like globs and globs and globs of text associated with it. And with the NPC spawning code that I've made, and that actually works, I had to use that testing the dual boxing. Each NPC can be contained in its own file, and that file will only be loaded as it's needed. So honestly, with that too, anybody could make their own NPCs and have their own emulated world running that looks completely nothing like what the live game looked like. Let me see here. There was also, again, I saw Dustin. He did make some videos about a combat system where he was killing some NPCs.
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier.
Yeah. I did write a script for him that, with the values he found, that correctly sets the target color of whatever you're targeting, and it also levels you up correctly from from level 1 all the way up to 60. When you level up, you will hear the ding sound play. If you so we already have some of that too. Basically, since Dustin has the values in memory, you know, the values holding the stats of the NPCs, such as their HP, their MP, their level, their name. Dustin has all these values for all of the characters in the save state. So with that, and just messing around with them, we'll be able to add combat into the game like you saw Dustin do. And using the NPC spawning code that I've got, it will basically streamline it all, make it a lot quicker to code also, which is a really big thing. Because, you know, coding takes more time than playing through the code. Let me see here. I made some notes on the computer I'm reading through that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. Again, Dustin does have values for stats, and he had values for equipping armor. And I would assume with the I didn't look all the way into it with equipping armor. I'm pretty sure there are values there for what stats the armors have, the equipment has.
The look of it too.
What was that?
The look of it too. I remember he had different hex codes for different looking armor.
Yeah. So we will be able to change your graphics a little bit. As far as I've been led to believe right now, we can only use graphics that are on characters already loaded in the save state. But eventually, considering that the graphics are on the disc somewhere, eventually we will be able to, I would say we should be able to load graphics that aren't already loaded. That just comes with time. Mm-hmm. Again, though, by the time we have all of that figured out, who knows? There may be an actual live game server up and running or ready to be ran. Everything, like we were saying, really goes to the PCAPs. The PCAPs is what's going to help us make a real server. But until then, we can have an emulated, save-stated, cheat-engined server running at some point. As anybody who's kept up with the EQOA group and seen some of these videos going on YouTube and everything, people will see that I was posting about having multiple people playing in the same world over the same LAN.
Yeah.
And I am still working on that. There's I've been doing some other things too, obviously, like the dual boxing. That was something that I actually prioritized as soon as Dustin gave me those values, because he's done a lot for us, and I know he really wanted dual boxing, so I've really been focusing that the past week or so. But I am still working on that. I did want to say there's just some of the server code's gotten real confusing, and then a lot of the code that I needed I actually made with the dual boxing too. So at some point you will hear an update about that. Let me see here. I'm also, somewhere, I don't know if Dustin will ever be able to find them, but there is the class mastery menu, and there are values for that in the save state, probably somewhere.
Good.
I'm hoping that eventually he'll be able to unlock that too. If not, then I might be able to make a really imagine class masteries, but instead of using the in-game menu for class masteries, you're using a completely separate program on your computer to buy your masteries and to look at them and sell them. For the most, like that, that's something that would be doable if Dustin doesn't ever find values for class masteries. It'll just be a little funky, but we could get that done too. I'm actually pretty optimistic that he will find those values at some point. I don't want to be signing him up for anything he doesn't want to do, though. So
no pressure on him. We just clap for him. We're encouraging him.
Yes, there we go. Encouragement all the way. Let's see here.
One of the things we were discussing before the show was the Hamachi.
Yeah.
So a trial version, or like a non-paid for version of Hamachi, you're allowed, I think, up to 4 users. And Hamachi creates a virtual private network. so almost like an emulated LAN. And so at this point, you're able to have 4 people run around the same world together.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I am.
Yeah.
And so again with that paves the way for an eventual connected game server through the save states, and with the dual boxing, that code there has really helped me with that. I'm sorry, I feel like I cut you off.
Oh, no. I was just going to say that people can find a lot of this stuff, not all of it, but some of it, especially the Hamachi, on the Everquest Online Adventures Facebook page. So if you're looking at trying to set up your own a little Hamachi setup, and then have your friends log in to your little local area, an emulated online local area network, you could have that set up, and you could have some buddies run around with you. Obviously, you're just running around the world together. There's not much more you can do than that, but it's still pretty cool to see that someone else is moving around.
Yeah. Basically, what I've been doing with I did it with the dual boxing, and I did it with the that Hamachi server we were talking about. Is I just made the game update Coachman Ronks from wherever my character was to make his character represent that. And that was going fine. Before I did that, I was testing some of the X, Y, the X, circle, triangle, square. Technically, I was thinking of my Xbox controller. I was able to send those buttons over the LAN first, and I had somebody actually change my name, cause my name to be changed based off of what they did on their computer. There's a lot of different things I've experimented with. Some things that I just kind of like put on the back burner. What I was actually doing today, before we and even after you guys started this episode, is I was what is it here? I have it right in front of me. I was making an installation program to correctly install some of the files you need to run the dual boxing. One thing I did want to mention is that any of the scripts or other programs I put out, because again, like I said, some programs I write will be for Windows to go alongside the scripts. Any of that I put out there, I intend for it to be an all-inclusive package, and each program to have like basically step-by-step instructions on how to set it up. With this, like I said, I was making a dual box program earlier. I do have parts of the program made for the NPC maker, and I honestly don't think that'll take me much time. I just haven't put much time into it. The quest maker, though, I'm not sure when I could have that done, but I'd say the NPC maker might be done in a week or two. Dual boxing, I should release here in a couple of days. And then a quest maker, though, that one's going to be a little tricky for me to figure out. I just haven't quite thought about it enough. Yeah, and anything else you'd like to add or ask or anything like that?
Matt? Anything come to mind?
Did we lose him?
We might have lost Matt again. I'm not sure. Let me check.
So I have a question. So what do I need as a layman trying to do dual boxing on the save state? What do I need like installed on my computer and whatnot? For the dual boxing, you will obviously need the emulator capable to run and all of that. You will need Cheat Engine installed, and once you have those two things, I will supply to you a program that I've been making that will install Lua scripts that take care of manipulating Cheat Engine, and it will also either come packaged with or automatically install what is known as a cheat table, which is the file Cheat Engine opens up, and then from that file
it lets you turn on certain codes or turn them off, like a Game Genie or a Game Shark. So once you have the cheat engine running on your emulator, you'll click a box. It will basically set up your first PS2, I guess, as being your main box, and then you'll have to attach cheat engine again. But I digress. You will need the emulator, the cheat engine, and then some Lua scripts, which are essentially text files. And I'm making a program that will install all of that for you. But once that's installed, you will not need my program to continue dual boxing.
And we'll have guides and all that sort of stuff out. Like if a lot of this sounds confusing to people, there'll be a step-by-step. Like Randall's gonna make this as easy as possible for anyone.
Yeah, I plan on having a step-by-step verbal instructions in all my programs, and I plan on taking screenshots and everything, showing people what they need to click, where they need to click, and in what order to do everything to try and make it as user-friendly as possible.
That's great. Now, we had another huge announcement, but we unfortunately have to wait now till our December episode. Anyway, sorry, I'm losing my crap here. We have to wait till next month because he's still working on this little project, and a couple of us are sort of guinea pigs to help him out with it, to get it working. So unfortunately, he can't talk about it today.
Yeah, I didn't really mention much about that. For the episode next month, there is something I've been working with, like he said, that we've been testing. And on the next episode, I'll let you guys know what it is. So I hope you tune in for that for sure.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I'm excited for that because I know what it is. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
No, you don't. No, you don't. So yeah, it's actually really big news. I'm gonna leave it like that. So I want to thank you, Randall, for coming on. Thank you for sharing some of your knowledge, what you're currently doing. Maybe this might just be a thing where we'll have you on, and maybe eventually have Dustin on too, and talk about the work.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll have it on together because you might just like fall into this magical programming love and just go on a massive tangent. Yeah, so no, I really appreciate you coming on here, and I'm looking forward to talking with you for next month's episode.
Well, yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and I'd like to thank everybody who tuned in on Twitch and everything. Gave me a reason to show up besides you couple of gentlemen's presence.
All right, take care.
Yep, you too.
All right, ciao. So yeah, that was Randall. What a nice fella, eh?
Hey.
What a nice young gentleman. Was that my first A of the show?
No,
I think so.
There's been a couple.
Oh, come on. We'll see what the Twitch people say.
There's a couple of boots also.
Oh, no. Now you're just picking. Now you're just picking on me. So that's the information for this episode on segment 2, so EQA Revival. And as I said before, please go on Facebook and check out everything that's going on. There's always something posted every day or every second day. So our third segment, which is our general discussion. So this is where we pull people in from Twitch. So we'll be talking about, we'll all get our own views of certain topics. And then hopefully by that time, because there's a bit of delay from us talking to actually being streamed over Twitch, that people will start talking about it as well. And if you can just post on Twitch, like, hey, I have a couple things to say about that, go ahead, post your message there. Send me a message on Skype. Just send me a message. Don't call me. Don't friggin' just send me a bunch of messages. Say, let me in, get me in. I'm not going to answer you. I'm going to delete you and remove you and block you for the rest of my life. I'm not that mean of a person. It's just this is how it's got to work. So we're going to have some topics, and if you would like to be on it, just please send me a message. All right, great. So our first topic, we have 4 of them. Usually we like to stick to 3, but I said, hey, let's do 4. So the first one is, should an additional item or spell bar be added? Now, I want to get Matt's view on this first, because he's been very quiet, and I'm kind of cold. So if you could put your input on that.
Well, I know people are not very akin to a lot of different spells. I know that a lot of games keep it usually within 10 to 12 spell blocks thingy on the bar. In EQ2, we had something like 10. You could have up to 10 slot bars, 100 spells, or items or whatever. You could have a Cubert pyramid of stuff if you want to make it. We had one spell bar of 5 in the initial game, and then we added the second bar of 5 Frontiers. I would not be opposed to an additional spell bar as long as it's not gonna go crazy. Like maybe 1, maybe 2 at the most, because you really don't need that many spells, I think, all at the same time. In a way, it was never really designed to be a hugely, like, this spell works off this spell, that you have to have in like a chain like they do in some aspects. So I don't really think it's really that required. It might be fun for like a novelty, but I like the simplicity of it. So I actually
simplicity is a good thing too.
Yeah.
John, your take?
I wouldn't say strictly opposed, but opposed to another spell bar, because I think that you got to think most of your abilities are just repeats of older abilities anyway. Like the next level of it or whatever. But I think it takes away from the strategy going into the fight. Like if you can just memorize everything, memorize any ability you're going to need for any fight, it takes out the strategy of knowing, well, okay, this boss is vulnerable to fire, so I got to make sure I have my fire spells out rather than my ice spells or something. So I think for that reason, just because it takes more strategy, just having the 10, abilities rather as opposed to 15 or 20.
Now I have to agree with in the chat here right now, Mustafa, I think that's the name. They mentioned that adding an additional spell bar would actually affect PvP balance, and I totally agree. So as I spoke earlier, right, when I would duel on my ranger, I would go through all my abilities. So I would go through all my DPS, so all my bow stuff, and then all my sword stuff, and then after that, I'd be like switching through my abilities mid-fight. I personally would be for an extra bar. What would it hurt? Why not have an extra one in there for just other spells? Because especially for a ranger, there's just so many different things. Like, eventually I would take my sow out because I'd rather have a bind or some other type of ability. Even with healers to remove poison and other stuff. I think I know where you guys are coming from with simplicity, and it's in the game, it's fine. Keep it that way. I wouldn't be against it. I don't think it would break the game or anything like that.
I think no more than 1 extra bar. That's really what I think. No more than 1. 15 abilities is more than enough to me.
I'm not opposed to, like I said, maybe 1. Like one sounds good. Remember we had the weapons bar where you could like hotkey your weapons and stuff.
Yeah,
too?
That's beautiful because you'd switch out whether
that
from
was
like
great.
A shield or go to your dual wield or your bow to your dual wielding. Like that was the one thing actually I think I had an issue with towards the end of the game, because if I wanted to go from my bow back to my 2 weapons, I had to click on the weapon, and then I would have to go in my inventory and then equip the other weapon, as I recall, because my bow was already in the other weapon slot.
Yep.
So yeah, if we could get some sort of like maybe 1 extra slot so you can switch back to dual wield real quick, that'd probably be like pretty great.
Now, I think I maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I had it where on my bard I could switch between my bow, and then I could switch to a sword and shield, and then I switched to dual wield.
Yeah.
So I could switch between multiple.
So you had it set up?
Yeah, I had like a red steel wind and a black steel wind, or what, I forget what they called them for bards.
They were named.
But,
Yeah.
it was something else, but it was a steel wind graphic from
Yeah,
the board.
I hear you. I'm just thinking of what mistake
But I had
I
it.
made.
I had it set because I remember I had it, and I had click sticks as one of my presets.
I think it's because you went from a two-hander to a sword and board, then back to dual wield. And I think from sword and board to dual wield you could do it, but I don't think you could from one to the other. From like two-hander to do it. I can't.
Oh, no, I had a rotation on it though, so I'm not sure what it was, but it worked for me.
You cheated.
Yeah,
Hacked the game.
I would love it if they could like extend the bar. Like if we are gonna get like, because we had 10 spell slots, could we just put it all in one long bar? That would be awesome.
One long bar, right? It's just like
I like it on 2 bars because I could like line it up how I wanted to switch back and forth between 2 abilities, rather than scrolling through 9 other abilities to get to it.
so just the simplicity of left right and then just pick one up down. Yeah, I guess it all just comes down to preference, really. What you do like. So like overall, I would be for this addition to the game. So I would be okay with it. So what about you, Matt? Yes, no.
I would be okay, tentatively.
Yeah, that's what I say. I'd be okay with it, but I don't think it's necessary.
Okay, cool. So I see where we all stand on that one. So I know it's not going to be in the next episode. Anyways, next... just kidding. The next topic was increase mob spawn times. Now, did you guys ever have an issue with this where you found that the mobs were not spawning fast enough and it was becoming an issue with maybe just too many people being there and the overpopulation with a certain level range? You just couldn't finish your quest. John, did you have any such issues?
I don't think I really ever did. I mean, I guess the biggest thing was like, I guess if you were at like a place that doesn't have a lot of really good spots for camps, like the Kappa Castle, like if you had 2 groups too close to each other, you'd be stealing each other's mobs, and the spawn times would be really slow for you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It didn't happen to me a lot. I spent half of my time just running around solo anyway, though. So,
what about you, Matt?
I would love it. If you guys remember where they put the 23 quest in, like about a month or 2 after the game launched, and they put that one ice flesh zombie up there.
Oh god, yeah, that was bad.
And that bottlenecked like 60-some players at any given moment to get that one spawn for that mob. And then, or the ice melter in Vox's castle for that Everfrost snow or whatever you had to get for the for that dwarven crafters blacksmith's quests. And he's like, everyone's trying to get that one kill there. I would love more spawn times, especially on the quest drop guys.
Yeah, and I found even with the bandits near Davar Manor, if we were to increase the spawn times, even like on 2 camps, you don't have to necessarily increase. Well, actually, I guess you would be doing it in general, right? You'd be writing code that changes everything, not just certain spots, right? Because or maybe you probably could do certain spots, but it'd probably take a while. I don't know.
I would almost
go ahead.
I would almost just rather have more viable camps. You know what I mean? So that you can spread people out more and use up. I mean, think about how expansive the world is. And, you know, how many camps did people use? Like 10, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think making more viable camps as opposed to necessarily having to increase spawn times to accommodate more people.
Yeah, I agree. Like, to John's point, near the end of the game when they were just dropping, like, level 60 orcs right next to, like, the level 5 area outside Freeport because it was convenient, that was kind of immersion breaking.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much on the same page here. It's all specific to the area, right?
Yeah.
More,
Yeah. We'll go into our third part. So, so then the third one was, should we add more coachmans in the game?
Sure.
More coachmen. What do you think, Matt? How do you feel about that one? Add more coachmans, make it easier to travel around the world, and
yeah, some places were made for it. I couldn't believe they didn't have it. Like Kelenar, out near the Ebony Recluse, that entire like wizard city. That was sweet, and just didn't have a coachman there. And I really would have liked one to more of the southern area, because all you had was Kerplunk and like Grob and I think Oasis.
It's really hard to travel down there.
Yeah,
really hard to travel.
What about you, John? What do you think? Where else?
I don't think I'd want to add too many more, but I think there's a few areas that you could. Maybe something like Blakedown or something, or like it wasn't too far out of the way. Maybe if you even just had like a coach and it only took you from Forkwatch to Blakedown, and like that was the only way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the Murph coach.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Just more of the in-between areas to get you just a little bit closer to where you wanted to go.
So we got some comments here in our chat. So yeah, a couple. We got the ping. The penguin goes moo. Says faster spawns in specific areas would be better. And Mustafa again says that coach might be unnecessary if you keep the Porter family. There's also waste senders. So he doesn't say too much there. So a little bit about that.
I guess what I'm thinking is even more like it's more like a way sender. Someone that you can only get to that spot from the specific city or something. Like I said, more like a way center, I guess.
Yeah.
Than a coach.
So our last topic is, and actually this one I think we're gonna all disagree, or maybe two of us out of the three agree with. So, do you prefer weapons that scale with your character, or have static stats and are only good, say, that's for like 5, and you need to find a better one? So, John, what do you think?
I think I like having to constantly be on the lookout for new gear. So, I mean, I don't mind a little bit of scaling, but I think there should be a limit to it. You can only scale for so many levels, and then you got to find something else. But yeah, I like gear. So I'm more for. I was like a total gear hoarder. So I'm all about leveling up your finding new gear to level up. Basically.
Yeah. Matt?
Much like John, I don't mind. I don't mind scuff scales, but I do like going out. It gives you a reason to go farm and to go interact with other people out in the world. I wouldn't mind it scaling, say, like 9 levels, so that once you hit that next 10th level or whatever, past it, it's then locked. You won't gain any more off of it, unless like they want to add something to it that maybe like, I think at the end, wasn't the call weapons you could add gems to them to make them like really beefed up, or something like that. Maybe you want to add it to them later on. So I don't mind scaling on weapons, but I want there to be a reason to go out and find better stuff too, and raid better stuff too.
Yeah, I'm probably all about static weapons. Like John said, with the, I love how unique all the items are. The more equipment there is in the game, the better the game is. It's just I love that about Everquest Online Adventures. I love where, like you said, we go to a zone and we just grind like crazy, and we finally get that one sweet loot, and then we can finally use it. And then you use it for 10 levels, and then you're forced to find another spot and try and get that next piece. And
Chris, do you like hit points on your weapons and how they would take damage and excel like gear and stuff would too?
Oh, that's a good question. Do I like hit points? I think that mechanic has its place. It might be annoying, but I'm very neutral about it. So if the game has it, okay, it has it. I have to save up money. I have to repair. If it doesn't have it, bonus kind of thing. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's one of those things, if it's included in the game, I just accept it. I know that sounds a very Canadian way of agreeing with something, but okay, if you want me, do you want me to make a decision, like a yes or no?
No, actually, I prefer it when you're kind of wishy-washy. It adds more flavor to the situation.
Okay, yeah, it's just I see its place for it. It's like, right, you use the weapon after so long, right? The handle or something. It just is a little more realism. You know, you're using a shield, you're tanking, and you've got a massive Minotaur like jamming his head into your shield. Like, of course, there's got to be some sort of dent or scratch, or you need to bring it back and go talk to Marco. Hey, man, had a nasty fight there today. Can you repair my stuff? And like, I see that. That only makes sense. So yeah, I would like to keep that in the game.
I do too. I'm glad because EQ2 changed to where you only take damage on your weapons armor if you die.
Yeah.
And then at 10 deaths you X out your gear and have to go repair, right? I prefer it where it's a slow, because remember you didn't have to die to X your weapons and gear out in a way. They just naturally just grind down after getting attacked so much. Especially tanks, they had to have lots of money to repair.
Well, when we played EQA, remember we always had the stacks go to the tanks?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, if you loot it, that it always went to the tank. So
Master looter.
That was a part of the game. That's how it went. I'm going to bring someone in. We're going to bring someone in now from the chat to get his view on this. So we're going to bring in Bo. Bo, are you there? Hello,
yes,
Bo.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Ah, there he is.
How are you guys?
Hey. How you doing?
Time. Doing pretty good. Sorry, it took me a minute to get back to you. Doing dishes, fun stuff.
Yeah, you gotta keep yourself happy. You gotta keep. If there's a lady there, you gotta keep her happy. Have the dishes clean.
Right. But
this is Jeremiah.
Hey, Jeremiah,
Hi.
how are you?
Good. Please bring back your videos. We missed your videos. What happened to your EQA videos?
I even had the green screen a couple times on some of those videos.
Yeah.
But
you didn't delete them, did you?
That's actually kind of a long story. I did a lot of music on my YouTube channel as well. And I ended up doing some copyright stuff and didn't write no copyright intended in the description box. And so they ended up deleting my account, which included my EQOA videos.
Oh.
So it was a bummer.
You don't have them backed up at all?
I do on an old computer. I just haven't got around to it yet.
Okay, we are all eagerly awaiting them.
Yeah, if you need any data recovery done too, I would gladly do it all for free for you.
Oh, that'd be great, actually.
Yeah, so if your drive's like kaput and it's ticking, I would do my best to help you out.
That'd be sweet. Yeah, I miss doing the videos. I miss the game tremendously.
So I'm just going to give a background to some people. So Mr. Bo here did a bunch of videos while the game was still live. And then during the part of like when EQA started losing players, he was really trying to like round people up and like, gather everyone, like keep playing. Why quit? You're going to end up, and it happened too, you're going to end up finding another game. You'll play it, you'll like it, but you always have that missing feeling that this is not EQA. And that pretty much, that's what happened. Everyone kind of left for a bit. Bo was making these videos that the game's still fun, come back, there's new features. And I watched a lot of his videos with my buddy Glenn and I for, since he started making it, because we would just go on YouTube and put in EQA, and then we saw his videos and we subscribed. But yeah, that's what happened. So before the game like shut down, like a year or two, people were leaving for World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy. And then afterwards, they're like, this game is not EQA. I miss it. And at that point, it was just really too late. It's like we couldn't get enough people back on the game, and they had to shut down the servers. I think that's sort of how you were going to go with that, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, actually, I had a pretty good success rate for a while. When I started it for probably a good 6 months, I brought about 150 to 160 people into the guild that most haven't even played the game before, just from watching the videos. And it was funny because I watched the population in Freeport fluctuate quite a bit.
Oh, cool.
Once the guild started up. It was actually kind of a long story how that ended up going down the drain as well. I ended up going into the Air Force and couldn't really have much control over it in basic training, so I left it to a couple other people, and then it went downhill, unfortunately. But I like to think I played my part a little bit. It was fun, and I tried as hard as I could, and I really missed the game, though.
Yeah, and we miss your videos and the content that you did deliver to us, and we're hoping once we get everything up and running again, maybe you'll consider doing videos again.
Oh, definitely. I'm so excited. I've been following the Facebook page and watching the YouTube videos, and yeah, when it's up, I'll definitely be making videos again.
You'll definitely have to be a co-host one of these episodes as well.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd actually be honored to do that.
Maybe our Christmas episode, and we'll have Randall back on to. Well, at that time, if the hidden project is complete, we can release the information to the masses. But
well, Bo, I was really inspired by your videos to get late in the game, even after it was all shut down. I always thought back to your videos, and I was inspired to, I don't know, carry that torch of like trying to get people involved a bit. So I always appreciated you and what you were doing. There was a lot of emotion behind your videos. So
yeah, I was just actually going to say the same thing. I kind of went the emotional route with it, and I think for most people that played the game, it was an emotional experience, and for people that didn't play it, it sounds absolutely ridiculous. But I mean, we grew up on that game, you know.
Yeah.
That's just like our long lost dog, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what we loved, and that's what we remember, and nothing else compares now.
yeah, it just opened another world. It was, you know, even to make up, like for me, if I'm working with my friend, and we have like a bunch of little projects and stuff on the side, and we're working on a small little RPG game, but it always sort of comes back to me sort of taking elements from this game, because this game was that magic for me. Like the gameplay is so fun. They nailed all the basic things in this game, and all the basic stuff just piles up to be a nice product. And I love it. I missed it too. I can't wait until it comes back. Now, I can't remember now. Did you answer the questions about what we were just going over?
No, not at all.
No, I was actually coming in as you were discussing it, so I'm not exactly clear what the topic really was.
It was like sort of a group of excitement. Everyone got really excited here when you got in, and then we sort of just went a bunch of different directions. But the last topic was, would you prefer weapons to scale with your character's level, or just have static stats? So that's what it is, that's what you get, and then you'll find a better weapon later on when you find a new spot to grind.
It's actually, that's a pretty hard question. I would say I'd actually prefer particular items to scale, not every item. Maybe like certain rare drops, maybe epic items that really appeal to the mass, but I don't know about every item though.
Maybe like an all vest, as an example.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm with the scaling, I would say.
Now we got a quick question before you go. Someone wants to know what your character's name was and what server you were on.
Let's see. I started on Hotstock.
Nice,
my very first character, his name was Action. He was a barbarian warrior, and then I went through the process of making a druid. His name is Quicken, like Quicken Loans. That's where I got the name from, actually, which is kind of ridiculous. But then I switched over to Castle Lightwolf, and I had a barbarian shaman named Arctic Soul. I had another character named Quicken, who was another druid, Quick Blades, which was a bard, and a few others. But I mostly played on Arctic Soul on a Castle Lightwolf.
So what's the highest level character you had?
Oh, geez, I had 2 60s on Hotstock, and I had 5 60s on Castle Lightwolf.
Wow, you put me to shame. Like, that's like hitting me with the newspaper shame, you know?
I played from launch week right up to the last day. And I believe my Barbarian Shaman had, I think, 1450 CMs on it.
Wow.
Oh, nice job. Yeah, I had, the highest level I had was a 50. That was on Hotstock, my Ranger Havlat. And then the rest of them were like 40s, 38s, 35, 37. I rolled, like, I had all the boxes filled with characters. I rolled a lot of alts. I enjoyed each class. It wasn't really a really terrible class. And go ahead, sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say, towards the end of my Shaman, when the CMs are almost maxed out, you wouldn't believe the how well they dueled. I went the Divine Were Hunter on him. I don't know if you guys remember, they used to quad.
Oh yeah, dude.
And with the CMs that I had and Avatar and everything else, man, that was just impossible to kill. I missed running around. I missed the game though. It was really nice talking to you guys though.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll keep in touch, and then maybe get you in very soon.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. But take care, guys.
Bye, Bo.
Take care.
Bye.
Thanks, Bo.
Bo Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. He has left the building. So yeah, I had to laugh though, because Jeremiah just came out of nowhere. Bo!
After not talking the entire time.
I know, I had to, sorry.
I don't blame you.
He was actually Jonathan and Bo are you guys are you were my EQOA Let's Save the World heroes. You were the two, I started to do some campaigning for EQOA, when it was getting shut down, and it was your letter to John Smedley, and it was also Bo's videos that I was like, something has to be done. I'm gonna save this. Come on, I tried to shoot videos and get people riled up, but you know what happened.
Yeah.
Here we are, years later, still trying to do this, and we're getting somewhere. But I had to jump out and say something. Sorry.
Oh, it was very comedic. I loved it. I don't blame you. It must have been like a dog, like with a certain word, right? We'll go for a walk. The head goes up, head twitches.
Yep, that was your Paul Schaefer moment.
Yeah,
where he jumps out and says something random.
You got to play a little ditty now on a keyboard or a piano.
Yep.
Just be like,
yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet now.
Oh no, it's all good, man. It's all good. So I've got something that no one else here has seen on our episode layout. So this is just a funny question I have for both of you. Matt, I'll wait for your answer. You can answer first. So, if you had a chance to adopt a child from an EQA race, which race would you choose and why?
Oh my goodness.
I'm going first on this, or is it John?
Yeah, you're going first.
If I had, all right, it would be a high elf for pure greed and monetistic reasons, because they would live long after I was in an old age, and they'd still be able to take care of me in my old age and crapping myself in my own pants.
Oh, nice.
They might be able to conjure some magic to make you live longer.
Yeah,
quite possibly.
Longevity. That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I respect that reason. What about you, John?
I could just go with barbarian, just because you know that I love barbarians.
Barbarian child.
Gosh, that's such an odd question. With no prep time to think of to weigh the benefits.
I didn't even think it out either. So I'm just.
I guess I'll just stay with barbarian, just because I love barbarians.
I'm going to also pick a barbarian.
Also, it'd be huge and be fun.
My reason is that even if the kid's like 12 or something, I do enjoy lifting weights, so I could have him spot me on the bench all the time. Because even when I'm 50, the kid will probably still be as strong. So I think adopting a barbarian to help me work out and lift things while I'm moving, anything else. Go ahead.
The barbarian, even the old NPCs in Hollis, Elder Felligan, they were ripped, dude. They were
they're
shredded every day.
They must have done.
I think they're born tattooed.
Yeah. They must have been they do a mixture of CrossFit with actual weightlifting too. It's just insane. We've got farmer kids that kind of look like that, but it's almost not even fair when you grow up and you actually get to have a body like that. But that would be my reason to help me spot me work out and help me with my moves. And if I get a flat tire, just to lift the car up while I change a tire, just
right,
simple little things like that. I don't know if Jer is still there. His answer would be more than welcome, or even if he wants just to post it in chat, what he feels. Which
I didn't even think about it.
didn't even think about it, eh? If you had to choose one,
Clockwork.
so a gnome.
A clock. Yeah. Well, no, I mean like an actual machine, a robot.
Oh, you'd rather a robot
I don't
instead of a
know if that fits into your question or not, but
It
a
was
robot baby.
He'd have his own personal Deidre 4.
I've had 4 kids, so something I'd like to switch it up.
All right, so you
guess,
want to
really.
program your child.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
See, I didn't know we could choose races that weren't playable. Otherwise, I'd pick one of the little fairies or the Bixies, because that stuff is tiny and hilarious.
What about a Merkin? It's like a child and a pet.
Well, then we could just get like a Tamagotchi at that point, or a Furby doll. All right, cool. So we got I got the response that I wanted. I'm glad I asked that question. So we're going to our 4th segment, and our 4th segment is lightning round quiz. I've got 2
Where I
quiz
get to
questions.
fail again.
Yes, you've got an opportunity to even be more embarrassed.
Right.
So I have 2 questions here, and I am going to give the easier question to John because last time. So
I'm gonna get it wrong, just so you know.
well, we're gonna do something different this time. So if you get it wrong, Matt has the chance to steal, and then take your point and alongside that he'll get a question too. So he'll have a chance of getting 2 points. Not that I'm predicting he's going to get 2 points. I think you're going to get this, John. All right. So the question is, and don't hide your Twitch feed. I don't want you looking at that.
Looking at the answers people post.
They're gonna just explode it on there. Okay. So the question is, what city was Coachman Ronks from?
Oh, come on. It's Freeport.
There we go. See, I told you.
That was too easy.
Oh,
That was
I feel
That was-
patronized now.
That was a free point.
no, that was it. You got it. You got your point now. Now you're 50-50.
Yeah, it was free points. That's more accurate.
There you go. All right. So next question, Matt. Name a zone, and actually this was already said, where the champion's harpoon dropped.
I know this one because I got it.
Elemental
I
Towers.
looted it.
John, is he correct?
Well, I didn't hear what he said. I was talking.
He said Elemental Towers. On
don't
my
think
sheet
so.
here, I have nothing on Elemental Towers. So
Hmm.
this is an opportunity now for John not to go
I
from
get the steal?
1-1, but he can go to a 2-1 record.
Oh, I picked mine up at Death Fist DFC.
Oh, you are
It's
such a stud. You
Really?
are.
That thing dropped there in DFC?
Yep.
Wait a minute. Is the Champion's Harpoon the one that dropped off that named Mana Ray near Elemental Towers? Or something out there? That's what I thought it
You
was.
talking about Nardicus?
Yeah.
No, Champion's Harpoon dropped off
A
the orcs
one-handed.
in DFC.
Yeah, one-handed.
Nardicus dropped. He had the Eye of Nardicus, and I forget what he dropped. He did drop like a harpoon though.
Yeah, it was his tail. That's what it was, or something like that, in the lore of it. Because I remember the flavor text on it.
Yeah, I don't remember what the name of it was, but Champion's Harpoon was DFC.
All I must say, this has been a change of tables because you thought you weren't even going to get 2 points here. Matt's like, I got this in the bag. He's already conceding. I'm proud of you, John.
I must have
Well, thank you.
spoken
Well,
now.
thank you. After my horrendous fail last time.
Yeah, you've now.
What was last week's question? Because I don't remember it.
I don't remember it because that
What
was a month ago. I
What
think
was
one of
the
those.
seafoam soiled robe? Where did that drop?
Yeah, and it wasn't from my where my grandmother lives in a home either.
And then what was the other one? Oh, one other one was about a
What was the other one? Was
I
it
don't-
Zone?
No, it was about another drop.
Yeah.
They were both things that I don't remember because they were pre Frontiers, and I didn't play until Frontiers.
Here, one second. I'm gonna bring it up.
Oh, it was where did the ceremonial vestment drop?
Yes, the ceremonial vestment. That's correct, and that's the bandits near Diver Manor, and then also the White Paw Knolls.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that was it.
gave so many
Someone
away.
else, someone got it on the feed there. They knew the questions.
Thanks, fans. We're gonna start selling T-shirts soon. That's it. We've got a following. That was fun, guys. Thanks for playing along there, and then hopefully the next questions will be more challenging. Will be done much more challenging. So we're on to segment 5, the last part of the show. So we head off our own directions. Just a couple of things to go over. First things first, I want to read off an email that I got, and we're just going to. Oh, here we go. So his alias is Vocal Blade, and Vocal Blade, also known as Nick, says, "Hello, my name is Nick, and I used to go by the name Vocal Blade on Castle Lightwolf. I just wanted to say thanks for your efforts with everything concerning your work with EQOA. Knowing there are people out there that love it as much as I do are talking about trying to bring it back and make it playable. I've been finding myself thinking back on it lately, and my friends and I always find ourselves reminiscing about our times in Tunaria. It also makes me happy that Corsten, a former guildie of mine on Castle Lightwolf, is a part of this. I'm not sure if he remembers me, but if he gets a chance to read this, it's nice to see that you're doing well and fighting the good fight. I wish there was something I could do to contribute to the project, but unfortunately I'm not very savvy with things like this. I'm assuming he's talking about programming, so I'll just do my part and give my support from behind the scenes. I'll be tuning into the stream, which is today. You guys rock. Thanks again for everything you're doing. Best regards, Vocal Blade." Thank you. What a nice email. And it's stuff like that keeps us doing what we do. And I didn't forward that to you, did I, John?
No.
That was a nice little email, and I love that kind of stuff. If you guys want to send us an email, even about a story, about another guildie or maybe one of the hosts that you have, just send us an email at eqoalfg@gmail.com. I'll get Jeremiah to drop that link just in case you don't know how to spell eqoalfg@gmail.com. He'll put that in there anyways. I just want to go through a couple of comments on our first episode. I don't want to use names, so if there's any names, if you guys want me to say your comment, then just send me a message or say you can use my name. I don't mind. So we got a couple. Again, Cody, awesome show. Thanks. How many thumbs up do we have, by the way? We have 43 thumbs up, and we're at. I forget the last count of subscribers. We'll check that out after. We have a comment here from EQA Nostalgia, which we're hoping to have as a co-host eventually. He says, "I do believe I am your first subscriber." And I think the seafoam dropped in the zone, just not the Crocs. So it might have been a world drop in different areas. He remember getting on the coastline. And back when it dropped, I thought anymore. Anyways, he says, "Good show, guys." So thank you for that very nice comment. There was another one specifically I wanted to read. Okay, here we go. So Carrie says, Kari, "You guys make me miss the game even more than I already do. I believe I know at least two of you guys, like Dud and Rek. My main was Belladonna, a 60 Druid on Farron's Hope in Castle Lightwolf. I had like 32 60s more or less on both servers, 4 different accounts, and I was also a Sony guide for a few years because I love the game so much. I just wanted to do more. I'm in the Revival Guild on Facebook, plus many other EQA Facebook pages. I wanted to say that great, everyone's trying to bring back the game. It's by far the best game I've ever played. I hope that one day that it's fully up and running. Good job, guys, for the work being done." Do you remember this person, John, or...?
Yeah, actually, I played with her on ESO now.
Aw. Well, you tell her that Chris says hi.
All right.
And thanks.
She hasn't been on in a little while. I haven't seen her, or she's playing a different time than I do. Because she's West Coast and I'm East Coast, so. But I don't see her very often.
Big shout out to Eastside. What? Here's another comment from Rezikai Nightblade. This guy's not bad. He seems like a pretty good chap. Says, "Subscribed as well. My 2 brothers and I played from the first or second week of launch. And love to come on and talk EQA sometime with you guys. We would love to have him on here. Actually, we had him on today." No, but I really appreciate the
Did we
comment.
lose him? Is he still there?
Yeah, is he
No,
there?
Okay.
don't listen to that drunkard. All right, he's,
I haven't even had any Canadian craft beer yet. You can't use that as a reason. No, but there's tons of comments on it. It's actually it's fun just reading through the comments, and people also post their different experiences. So we do have 81 subscribers currently. I mentioned on the EQOA Revival group that once we hit 100, which would be nice by December because it'd make for a nice Christmas giveaway. I'm not going to say what it is yet. It won't be cheap. So it's not a cheap giveaway, but if we hit 100, I'm just going to actually write down everyone's name, and I'll do some sort of random way of picking the name. And after that, I'll need to get your address, and I'll be looking into shipping. So I'm pretty sure I'm willing to ship worldwide. It's the Christmas time, whatever. Even if you live over in Europe, I gotta pay $20 to ship it. I don't care because we got a good group of people, and it's only once in a while that we do stuff like this. Watch it. I'm gonna give you digital art, free shipping. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually something you can hold in your hand. This isn't some cheap gift, and there's actual thought put into it. Now, did you guys have anything you wanted to say, Matt?
Really enjoy the show. I hope to come back another time. There's some if we were to do another cityscape kind of zone discussion. I love Nuriak. And Freeport. Those are two of my favorites. If anyone is interested in talking EQ and EQA merch, I can't remember who it was, put the old Quest for Darkpaw comic on the Facebook page, and I think put it as PDF, didn't they?
Yep.
Yeah. Too. Yeah, I tried to pick that up so many times, and they would just want to outrageous prices. Appreciate
I didn't even
that.
know it existed.
I knew it existed. I just didn't. It was made, I think, either right before or right after launch. It just didn't really ever catch on. So it was okay.
It got expensive afterwards, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The initial launch, it wasn't too bad.
If we ever get on to talk EQ merch, I'm all about I always want to, if anyone out there does casting and or resin casting, molding and stuff, let's make some EQOA figures. I'm a big action figure guy, and I loved the old EQ1 action figures they made back when Cunark first came out.
Oh yeah.
The 3D printer. That's what we need.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yep. I got to a point where I use Shapeways to 3D print the Steelwind and the Heartsbane so far. So
Nice.
You might as well plug your other podcasts you do too.
Oh yeah, if anyone here is a Star Wars fan or likes talking and podcast and listen to a bunch of guys talk Star Wars, we are over at fasterandmoreintense.com. Leave us a comment. I know it sounds like a porno site.
Yeah,
it's
make
not.
sure you spell that right, guys. 'Cause I don't know. Don't blame me if you go somewhere else.
Oh man.
No, it's a clever name though. If
There's
in
lore
Beggar's
behind it.
Canyon, I don't know.
Yeah, it's an old George Lucas quote, so I'll just leave it at that. But yeah,
More intense. With
Basically.
actor. Yeah.
exactly.
More Jar Jar. That's another quote by George Lucas.
But yeah, I really appreciate coming on. I've always loved OA. It was the meat and potatoes of what an MMO should be, and because it didn't allow the devs a lot of opportunity to really tinker with a lot of the mechanics a lot, because it was so much more difficult to, and actually let the players enjoy the game without having to relearn so much over and over again. So it really stuck with me over time, and I hope a lot of players keep writing in their sentiments regarding what they loved and what they didn't love. And we should have a rare drop podcast one day. Like, what was your favorite rare drop, and where did you find that? That would be great.
Maybe we'll have a second podcast start on the EQA Renaissance channel. Who knows? Anything can happen. But that'll be for a discussion behind the scenes for you and I.
All right.
John, anything else you want to wrap up or talk about or?
I don't have much to add other than it has been a pleasure once again chatting with you gentlemen. it's always a good time talking about EQOA. So any little bit of it I can get in is amazing.
Now, did you feel it since you did the first episode with me, and if everyone missed the first episode that we had broadcasted before this one or haven't seen it on YouTube, I'll get actually Jeremiah to put a link in our Twitter chat of our YouTube Renaissance channel. Did you find a difference between the first episode and this episode? Like, did you prefer having the broadcast element? Do you find any things pro or con?
I like being able to have people like watching the comments scroll in and bring it in. How you brought in Bo and whatnot. I really enjoyed being able to do that and hear from some other people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Then I find that we've gone so long, which we thought we were long last time. We thought we were long-winded. But we've been on for like 2 hours now this time, so time really flies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
But no, I think I really like doing live. So
I feel I want to say another big thanks to Jeremiah, because as people know, he is the video DJ who does all the video while we're talking, and he also does all the editing. He may come at me for some ideas and thoughts, but he's still the brain who does all the editing and all that good stuff. So he puts a lot of hours into doing the editing. So comment on a video, even if you say great podcast, say great work, Jeremiah. Thank you for coming in for that piece of comedic relief when Bo was on, and thank you for the hard work you do with all the editing.
It's my pleasure.
You deserve it. You deserve it too, as much as you say all these other guys and all the work they do. Everyone pulls their own weight, and everyone should be aware of all the extra stuff that you do. So
I just show up. That's all I do.
You're the muscle.
I just show up. I'm unprepared, and I just sit down and start talking.
No, you're since you like barbarians, you've been the muscle since day one.
Right,
so.
right.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to thank John and Matt again. I did ask Matt within the day or two that I might need another co-host last minute. And he was more than happy, and he obliged, and he came on, and he hit it out of the park. I'm really happy that he came on, and I'm looking forward to having him on again.
Anytime. I love it.
All right, guys. So that's episode 2. Thanks for tuning in, and have a safe and wonderful weekend. Keep an eye out. Keep an eye on the Facebook group, because we're gonna have the next episode coming in December, and we'll release more information on that. All right,
and this episode will be put on our YouTube channel also.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, that felt good.
Right.
Everyone got everything out of them.
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Save session.
All right. Are we officially off now?
We're not being recorded. Are we?
Yes, we are.
Still running around.
Hang in there.
Oh.
Peace out.